As America marks 21 years since the September 11th attacks, we remember those who lost and honor the first responders who faced unbelievable odds. Our next guest witnessed the atrocity firsthand and survived.
Tim Frolich was working on the 80th floor in the South Tower and was injured during the attack. And FDNY firefighter Tim Brown was one of the first ones inside the South Tower. He had just run outside for help as the second plane hit, surrounding him in rubble. They both join us now. We've been talking to both these heroes, these gentlemen in the break. Fascinating stories across the board. Tim Frolich, let me start with you. You were working that day. You saw the North Tower hit. You were in the South Tower.
Yeah,
Walk me through what happened.
Well, I didn't actually see the North Tower being hit. There was a whole lot of noise, and something had happened, obviously, because there was smoke coming out of the North Tower on that side of the South Tower that I was working on.
So you started going down from the 80th. You were at the 60th.
Yes, I decided to rest around the 60th floor because I was a little fatigued from running. And as I entered a room on the 60th floor, that room pretty much popped or collapsed, and that was apparently the Flight 175 coming in to the South Tower.
Tim, really quickly, what inspired you, or what, at that point, there was so much confusion that morning. You see the North Tower hit, you're in the South Tower. Why did you immediately realize, I need to evacuate the South Tower?
Well, one of the things that really concerned me, even though we were being told that it was a controlled situation in the North Tower, one of the things that concerned me was there had started to been some smoke that had started to kind of wafer in from the North Tower. So you could smell something, and we started to get concerned, being that high up, that maybe we should start down in the event of something, whatever was going on at the time, which we didn't know. One of the things I just wanted to mention today that is very, very important to me, and I'm blessed. Every day for me is a good day because there were several times that I had said my prayers that day, figuring that I would be unfortunately killed. And thanks to many heroes like this man sitting next to me, I was fortunate enough to survive. But one of the things that still has a major hole in my heart is that we have not looked at and we need to continue to look at who was responsible for this. This great country was attacked by a foreign nation, and that nation is the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The families, thanks to President Biden's executive order, the families are blessed now to have an executive order that has released FBI documents that has clearly stated that in excess of 12 Saudi government officials were here planning, plotting, and executing the attacks on September 11th. And to date, we don't have any accountability. We certainly don't have any justice. And for me, today is such an important day to remember. I'm here. I'm blessed with my family, my friends, but it's also going towards justice and accountability. And I think as a country, we need that truth and we need that complete story. And so far, we don't have it.
Fair enough. Tim, tell us your story on that day, because there were certain moments where you also thought you were going to lose your life.
I was a New York City fireman detailed to Mayor Giuliani's Office of Emergency Management. So our office was 7 World Trade Center. So Flight 11, the first plane smashed into the north face of the North Tower. It flew over the roof of our building. My job was to go to the command post. I was in there for a while. I saw firefighter Chris Blackwell, my very good friend and colleague from the Bronx Fire Department when we worked there. I was the last one to see him. Chris and I actually kissed on the lips because I loved him like he was my real brother. And we acknowledged to each other that this was a very bad thing. And after he acknowledged that, he went in the stairwell and went up to save the lives of people he did not know.
Did you feel like he knew he might not come back?
He knew. I know he knew. We all took an oath when we became firefighters or police officers or military so he fulfilled his oath that day. Right, he gave his life for people he didn't know, and I call it the greatest love.
It certainly is.
So when the South Tower got hit, myself and Assistant Chief Donald Burns from the fire department went to the lobby of the South Tower. He went to the command post, There were people trapped in an elevator there, and the elevator car had actually free fallen 70 floors because the plane snapped the cable. And those people were now stuck. I could see them. The hoistway door was open, but the elevator car was stuck at the top. We could see everybody's feet. They were screaming, and the elevator pit below them was full of jet fuel that was on fire, so they were getting burned. And when I speak, we have to tell the whole truth about 9/11, not just the parts we want to talk about.
I agree.
So it's the heroes, the 343 New York City firefighters, 37 Port Authority police officers, 23 NYPD, and 8 EMTs and paramedics who all did what Chris Blackwell did. They all ran toward danger and fulfilled their oath. We have to talk about the horrors, and then we have to, as Tim stated, we have to talk about who did it and why they did it. That's the whole truth.
I couldn't agree more. I think you both have such strong and powerful stories, and hearing those stories are, I think, the best way to protect ourselves from it happening again. If we know what really happened, we'll make sure it doesn't happen again. That's the hope, of course.
That's the thing, Rachel.
Yeah.
The idea that this could conceivably happen again, you know? When you invade a foreign country and you kill innocent Americans and maim and injure and look at the rescue workers that today are still dying as a result of this attack, it is reprehensible. One of the things I just would like to show, this is an FBI document that was released to the family a year ago. This document indicates 3 high-ranking Saudi government officials who helped the hijackers plan, plot, and carry out that terrible attack 21 years ago today. This is information, this is proof, this is evidence of names of Saudi government officials. These are people that were paid by the Saudi government to come here and murder 3,000 innocent Americans. And so far, unfortunately, there's been no justice for anyone regarding that. 9/11 was a murder. People were murdered. There was never an investigation on that murder. We don't, for the longest time up until last year, we didn't know. Now we know.
Well, I've been following your efforts to get that information, and we appreciate you.
We have that information.
That.
Thank God. We now have that information, and we would love the opportunity to share that. That's
Well, we appreciate you sharing it this morning.
Thank you so much.
On the case, Tim Frolich, Tim Brown. Appreciate your heroism.
Thank you.
For being one of those men that was willing to run toward those buildings.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
God bless.
Here.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.